Hello, hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily, Season 2, Episode 285 for October 12th, 2023. Tonight, we're going to discuss, you know what? I messed up.
No intro.
We're going to discuss a whole bunch of things, apparently. Hold on, I'll get to it. Oh, no. We're going to discuss a trial petition about a judge and some compatriots that did some wonky stuff. I'll have to fix that. Make it a little more succinct. Oh, that's awesome. I got pulled away and I didn't finish what I normally do before the show. Apple settles a Caltech $1 billion patent lawsuit. We're going to prove that proving that someone has a soul is impossible. Space missions are heavy metal. VR fitness app gets developer blacklisted on Meta platform. This AI taco tastes horrible. These tomatoes taste like building waste. AI voice cloning is indeed wrong. How about what a deal? And finally, Swiss Army knife and a work of art. Oh, I'm so sorry, folks. I got wrapped up in something, and I normally have everything done before the show starts, and the vote is operational, and I can do my intro, but no. Yeah. What should we do? What do you want to call this very first article? This one about the judge.
Oh my.
How about
I'm not
judge
even
makes
sure
poor
where to go with that
judgments?
one. Oh, I like that.
Okay, so this segment is titled Judge makes poor judgments. I won't be able to do the rest of the intros and stuff, but I'll be able to do this. So let's just get into the show before I dig a deeper hole. So this very first article is over in the Law Nerd channel, and it's all about law, and well, I'm a nerd, and I'm kind of a law nerd, but not a law nerd. Anyway, so
you get nerdy about law topics.
I get nerdy about law topics, but I'm not an attorney, and even if I was an attorney, I'm not your attorney, so go hire your attorney. I may critique some case and talk about the ethics, the morality, the technology, the impact on society, things like that, maybe the business aspects of it as well, but I'm not making any legal judgments. So the angle that I take at this is, well, listen to this title. Judge photographed male lawyers in hot pink chairs. Okay. Exchanged 500 plus texts during a murder trial, according to a petition. It's a poor position for a judge to be making these kind of judgments. A judge should be removed from office for exchanging more than 500 texts with a bailiff during a murder trial in which he mocked participants. So, one of my main coping mechanisms is to crack jokes and to kind of laugh off the seriousness of a situation. Some people have gallows humor and some people laugh. I do both. I make jokes from time to time. I know when I can read the room, though. So yeah, let's just go over to the source of this, and that's Deborah Cassens-Weiss at ABA Journal, who wrote the article. And there's already an update here. So I don't know if that's an update from a previous. They don't have a timestamp as to when it was updated versus when it was initially posted. But anyway, Updated. A judge should be removed from office for having exchanged more than 500 texts with a bailiff during a murder trial in which he mocked participants' appearances and displayed gross partiality, according to a disciplinary petition filed by Oklahoma's Chief Justice. So the judge, Tracy Soderstrom of Lincoln County, Oklahoma, should be removed for her conduct during the June murder trial of Christian Tyler Martzel, according to an October 10th petition. I believe we actually spoke about this briefly back when it was first discussed, but it was a while ago. So I don't want to get into all of this because it's kind of twisted. Not kind of, it's seriously twisted. The trial itself. But so let me see if I can stop here. According to allegations in the ethics petition, in text messages, Soderstrom and the bailiff discussed which jury instructions would best fit their desired outcome. That's wild. Soderstrom granted a request for an instruction on second-degree manslaughter, which has a sentence of 2 to 4 years in prison. Soderstrom refused to rule on an objection to prosecution plans to call a doctor as an expert witness before jurors were sworn in, and then barred the expert after a later hearing. The district attorney had sought a ruling before the swearing in to preserve the state's right to appeal the issue. When a police officer took the stand, Soderstrom texted, "He's pretty. I could look at him all day," she said. And the bailiff also discussed whether a juror was wearing a wig, whether a witness had teeth, and whether a witness was blinking uncontrollably. All of these things shouldn't be side discussion.
No, none of this should be. And also, not only is it inappropriate, what kind of attention is being paid to the actual trial?
Yeah, they're so, as you know, dear listeners from beyond, it is impossible for humans to multitask. We do a thing called fast switching. So a person can look at something. Basically, where we look is where our attention is largely. And so if this judge is sitting there looking at somebody and daydreaming about how pretty he is or she is or they are or whatever, they're not paying attention to the legal matter at hand. It's impossible to be 100% focused on that material. When they shuffle around paperwork, when they dick around with things, they are not focused on the trial. It's just not possible. So, and you can try and do this. Well, I wouldn't suggest doing it, but you'll notice, now that I've said it, you'll notice if you go out and drive somewhere and you look off to the woods on the side of the road, I hope you enjoy them, because that's where you're going to end up.
I mean, that's not funny, but it is in the abstract.
But then people overcompensate and they end up in the lake on the other side of the road. And they might take out a bunch of things on the way. But my point is that humans can't multitask. We do fast switching. And when somebody's murder trial is at hand, you don't want fast switchers. You want people focused on what the hell is going on in the courtroom. So I won't really go into the rest of this. You can, although one just caught my attention. Soderstrom referred to the district attorney's baby hands in a text and said that they were weird looking. The bailiff replied, "I was told they were tiny, LOL."
Oh my goodness. I mean, can you imagine somebody sitting there like objecting and the judge is like, "Hey, look at that person's hands," and totally missing whatever's occurring.
The actual, oh man, I swear. And I'm not a party pooper, right? I'm not Debbie Downer. I'm not the kind of person that goes charging into a fun conversation and goes, look what's happening at this gas pipeline leaking into, the Baltic or whatever. It's not my nature. But you read the room and you don't You don't mess around like this. This is a serious matter. It needs the respect that if you were to slight Soderstrom, I guarantee you they would hold you in contempt and try and overnight you in jail. Simply because you said something, about their baby hands or the way that they are dressed or the question if they're wearing a wig or have teeth. Because they demand respect, but they're not offering it up to the rest of the people, the humans that are in the room. So this person, I think, really should be kicked to the curb. So here, let's keep on going. There's not much else we can really say about this, huh? I mean, feel free, sentient AI. I didn't even introduce us. I got right into it.
And I told you introductions at the beginning, but you skipped past that.
Can we get in the time machine and back up a little bit?
Yes, exactly. There's just so much wrong with this. And yeah, some of the content is obviously worse than other sections, but they're even commenting on like the actual content of the case too. Like it's bad enough that they're commenting on people's appearance and whatever, but the actual testimony.
Yeah, they're talking about their genitals and sweating through his coat and all of this stuff. All of this side channel locker room, bathroom humor kind of, I mean, it's really twisted. So,
but the chair thing is really ridiculous.
The chair thing?
Yes, the judge made attorneys pose in pink chairs.
Oh, right. Yeah, that I didn't even see that. I read it in the intro, but so the Oklahoma court on the judiciary will hear the ethics case. Judge Soderstrom takes the allegations very seriously. Her lawyer Tracy Schumacher told USA Today, "We are in the process of requesting the entire record from the Council on Judicial Complaints so that she can respond appropriately." I hope she's announcing her retirement.
You know what I want to know is how this came to light, right? So, for instance, I'm assuming somebody was going, objection, and the judge said something related to the text, not to the case or something.
If I remember correctly, somebody recorded her.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, if I remember the situation when we first discussed it. Yeah. Okay, so here, let's keep on going. The next article is over in Smack Talk, which is all about Apple. Apple reaches settlement with Caltech in $1 billion patent lawsuit. So, if you don't realize this, you should. Fundamental research is done typically in research universities, and it goes from academic to either tactical and then practical, or it gets bought by a practical application right out of the gate. So for instance, I've worked with people who have started out as fundamental research in a research institution, quasi business, working with university researchers that then develop something and then spin it out from the university, grant funded either by corporations or by government. And usually, depending on what the content is, at some point you form an agreement with either the business or the government to share the technology. And so what ends up happening is a company is formed from the neophyte construction of the product, and then they license it or they produce it and sell it to another business, a whole host of businesses, or to government. Well, in this case, Apple and Broadcom have reached an agreement with California Institute of Technology to end a patent lawsuit that began back in 2016. Caltech's lawsuit is centered around its accusations that Wi-Fi chips made by Broadcom and used by Apple infringed upon its patented technology. And that goes hand in hand. Usually the work that is done has a license. The only people that can be named in a patent are the actual material impactors of the creation of that product. You can't just be sitting on the sideline and get added to the patent. If anybody challenges it, you would have to justify what work was done by somebody. I don't know, maybe, never mind, I won't go that far. But wherever there's a lot of money involved, and usually, people get written in and hopefully nothing gets challenged. But anyway, I'm not saying that has anything to do with this, but typically at the end of that, when you're doing that research for a university or for a business, part of the patent application also has kind of like a rider in it, that not in the patent application itself, but in the agreement, there's a little rider in there that says this business or this institution gets a percentage ownership of any licensing agreements that are formed from this patent, whatever it might be, or the patent gets assigned to another party. So it says here, Broadcom has reached an agreement with the California Institute to end a patent lawsuit that began in 2016. And it's all about these Wi-Fi chips. And I remember this coming up and I'm like, wow, this thing is going to get really expensive. But they didn't go just after Broadcom, because Apple could have been the victim of Broadcom selling chips that violated a patent. But somewhere in there, Apple was integrated into it because of what? I'm not quite sure how this actually happens, because if Broadcom goes to Apple and says, hey, Apple, we have all of these, we have this chip and we can sell you it, why is Apple on the hook? Unless Caltech notified Apple and Apple summarily dismissed it, and then that liability would transfer.
Also, I'm assuming that Apple and Broadcom would have had an agreement where, where Broadcom would indemnify Apple.
Right.
Concerning any infringement.
Right. It doesn't make any sense. That
doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
Yeah. I know that if I license something, I don't say to the people that are licensing it to me, oh yeah, I'll hold on to any liability that is put upon me by your stupid actions. Your chip causes my device to explode. I'm not going to be. I mean, but here's the knock on of this.
You're relying on whoever that manufacturer is that you can use it, right?
And the thing about it is that Apple, in this thing, it says Apple and Broadcom were ordered to pay a combined $1.1 billion to Caltech. The Apple portion of it is $837.8 million. It's almost, it's almost 3 times what.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it be reversed though?
Right.
I mean, anyway.
Well, I can tell you why. Apple has deeper pockets.
Well, that's true.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, I mean, overall, Apple would have deeper pockets than Broadcom. But, now I want to know. I really want to know the deeper side of this. Because I would, without a doubt, assume that Apple has that indemnification clause so that if any bad actors on Broadcom's side takes place, any bad acting, Apple can't be held. But here's what could happen.
But they've already been held liable, right? Now we're in an appeal.
Yeah, now we're in an appeal. But here's the thing. Check this out. This is what could happen. Depending on what the terms are of this, right? What the actual context is. Apple could sue Broadcom into non-existence.
Oh, absolutely, right? Because it's not the end of it.
Yeah, you caused us to suffer almost $1 billion worth of financial loss. So
and how much loss to our reputation and just goodwill. Whatever.
You made us look like a bad actor. Yeah. So that would be interesting if Apple suddenly announces that they've purchased Broadcom.
Yes, well, and we don't know what the details of the settlement are, and yeah. Well, I mean, it could be like Broadcom has agreed to pay everything, or who knows? I mean,
So, yeah. The details of the settlement are unknown, but Caltech has agreed to dismiss the case with prejudice, meaning that it can't be refiled. So, as long as they stick to the terms, they're done.
Right. I mean, it's agreeing that it's been made whole or whatever in the
Right.
settlement. So
Yeah. Kind of interesting. So, yeah. Let's see. 6 months. Let's give it 6 months. And
okay, you heard it here. So what will that be? Is that April the 12th roughly?
yeah.
Okay.
So, will April apples bring Broadcom's, I don't know, flowers? I've got nothing. I don't know. I fell asleep at the wheel there. Let's keep going. This segment is actually titled, I think it's something along the lines of it's not possible. Wait, hold on. Proving someone has a soul is impossible. That's the segment's title for this. And luckily for them, it's true, because if, in my estimation, it was possible to verify if someone has a soul, this person would be proven to not have one. So here, let me throw this into the chat. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, now I can't think of the saying, but it's basically like better to be
Oh,
thought of a fool than to remove all doubt.
yeah.
I can't think of how
It's better to
stated.
remain silent and thought a fool than to open your
Yes.
mouth and remove all doubt. So this article is titled, Lawyer Calls Evicting People a Patriotic Duty, apparently site-checking fake cases in briefs. Less of a patriotic duty. Hello, Z. Welcome to the show. Good to see ya. So, it says here in the
Everything
article,
about this is wrong.
and the sentient AI says hi too. I was just answering that.
Hi, Z.
Hi, Z. So this is from Above the Law, which always writes really good articles, but their little snippet says this sure sounds like another lawyer caught using ChatGPT to make up case law. So the article, like I said earlier, is in abovethelaw.com. Joe Patrice is the author of this. It says in what feels like redux, it's a redo or of the New York ChatGPT brief case, Block signed off on a brief responding to a tenant's attorney's dismissal motion. But when the attorney settled down to read the response, she was in for a surprise. Quote, I felt a little bit like I was completely misreading or misunderstanding what was happening, Nicholson said in an interview. It was one of the weirdest opposition briefs I have ever received. While Block's firm has not explicitly admitted to using an AI bot to write the brief, the presence of a number of completely fake case citations suggests another incident, I should say, of consumer-facing AI hallucinating its way through a legal research question. So the Judge Ian says Fuzzleman began by asking Block firm attorney John Greenwood, quote, what do you have to say for yourself? Greenwood replied, I have to say that there was a terrible failure in our office. There's no excuse for it. Greenwood said the attorney at Block's firm responsible for drafting the filing relied on online research, he said. She didn't check it, and that she had since left the firm. Oh, wow. Oh. So all they were fined was $999, a buck shy of the threshold for reporting the incident to the state bar, which they should have done. This is
I agree, because that's a failure of many aspects.
I mean, first off, citing non-existent case law violates the ethics of being an attorney, and it's called professional conduct. So that right there is, in and of itself, a disbarable offense. They should be losing their license.
They're perpetuating a fraud on the court.
Yeah.
And on the other party.
Yeah. And what numbskull of an attorney would try and do that, thinking that the other the opposing counsel isn't going to actually read it and look at the citations. And if it's in their area of specialty, they know all of the relevant citations, and anything that's cited that's BS would be easily crushed. So,
well, and I wonder if they even looked like citations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the didn't check it part that matters. It's eye-catching to blame AI for these mistakes, but the AI didn't do anything wrong. Lawyers still have to read the cases they're citing. Dumb, lazy lawyering is dumb, lazy lawyering, regardless of the tool. Yeah, this is why I read Above the Law and really do appreciate all of the authors that write there. Because they talk like attorneys to attorneys, and they don't talk like I guess like a composite of engineers with arcane language and speaking down their nose at the readers. So even laymen who aren't, practicing attorneys can read this and go, oh my God, this is just horrible. So definitely go and check these guys out. Did I make it in? Yeah, I threw the link in chat, so go and check it out. Yeah, Z says left to be with the fishes. Hopefully not that bad, but I hope that somebody files an ethics complaint against that attorney, and at least makes it more known, like who that is, because it's I guess, let's see. Do they not really say it?
They actually didn't say the attorney's name, but I suspect that there might be other complaints against this person, because they probably didn't just use ChatGPT for one filing, right? Yeah. If they were cutting corners there might have been other issues.
Yeah. So the attorney in question in 2007 said that he told the LA Times that he viewed it as his patriotic duty to evict people from rent-controlled properties. But apparently he came back into newsworthy decision-making by filing briefs with fake cases. So it is Dennis Block.
No, he owned the law firm, and it looked like he signed off on it, but I don't think he was the one who drafted it.
Right. Yeah, but that's where equivocation 101. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think the whole firm needs a reprimand, at least all of the ones that are involved in this. That's for sure. Everybody else, that it's a knock-on effect, but a teachable moment for all of the rest of the attorneys that are in the firm. Now, pulling up Dennis Block might actually show that it's just him and 3 AIs, but maybe even the AIs can be trained. Oh God, this is actually working out really well. You can use this as a training session for a legal ChatGPT bot to learn how to not screw up. Hey, everything is a learning moment. Come on, it all works out just fine. They're coming for your jobs, attorneys. Let's keep going.
Wait, I have to say.
Oh, did you find something?
There's been at least because I clicked through to see the source beyond the Above the Law, and there have been at least 12 lawsuits about essentially negligence from clients. So there's some other issues, and there's sanctions and.
Yeah. Oh, so just to give credit as knock on for the rest of the article. The article came from abovethelaw.com, but it was originally from LAist. They have another reference about prolific LA eviction law firm was caught faking cases in court. Did they misuse AI? Yeah. They used AI. Okay, now let's keep going. So this next article is over in the Mobile channel. The 5 things you need to know about NASA's mission to a metal world. This segment is titled let's see. Hold on, because I messed up our whatchamacallit? Our vote, our election. I messed up the election. It's not I don't have it in a nice little package, so I have to go and find it every time I do this. Anyway, space missions are heavy metal is this segment, so I'll try not to mess up in the future. So for the first time ever, a NASA probe is set to journey to an object composed not of rock, ice, or gas, but metal, the asteroid Psyche. So this was actually announced yesterday when OSIRIS-REx landed. Well, actually, no. So OSIRIS-REx was deposited on Earth a couple of weeks ago, I think it is now, and they just opened up the outer container of the module that took a sample. They haven't even opened up the inner container because there's so much debris on the outer container. But at that press release and interviews, they announced that Psyche, there's a mission that's going out to Psyche, which is a large, supposedly all metal asteroid. Whereas Bennu, if it would have approached Earth, maybe it would have broken up substantially and pelted us quite a bit. If Psyche aims for Earth, it will remain a massive metal block and do considerable damage. So they want to find out what it's composed of and see if we can actually divert something like that, and what would it take, and to do that kind of stuff. They want to know what it's composed of. The same thing went for Bennu and the OSIRIS-REx mission, and a previous one with, I think the acronym was DART, where they fired off a probe that actually deflected an asteroid in space. And they talked about that briefly during that press release too, essentially saying that it's the first time a human-made object ever diverted a celestial body. So, which, hey, it's great as long as it doesn't come back. So it says, by studying the space oddity, scientists hope to learn more about the inner cores of rocky planets such as our own, or potentially catalog a previously unknown class of cosmic body. If Psyche were mineable, its iron, nickel, and gold deposits could be worth an eye-watering $10,000 quadrillion, according to an estimate reported by Forbes magazine. All we have to do is get it in geosync orbit so that we can mine it. But with all of that, here's the deal. The business processes of this would mean that it would be considerably less than 10,000 quadrillion, because when you have too much of something, its value goes to zero. That's why sand isn't worth anything. What you're paying for really with sand, if you want to like put it in your backyard or something like that, is the weight in, if it's like beneficial soil, then it's the material, not the actual just dirt or sand, and it's the labor involved and stuff like that. So when you bring $10,000 quadrillion worth of iron, nickel, and gold from space onto Earth, iron, nickel, and gold become worthless unless somebody owns it entirely and constrains it like diamonds. So it's an odd way to catalog this as eye-watering when really it would be nothing. I know.
Well, it might be eye-watering in terms of tears.
Yeah, for anybody who owns iron, nickel, and gold company
Right.
stock or material. Yeah. So we have zero technology as a species to bring Psyche back to Earth. Ta-da! That saved all of your bank accounts. She said in a recent briefing, attempting to do so could backfire by causing an apocalyptic collision, but even if the endeavor were successful, it would flood the metals market, reducing their value to zero. Hey, look, it even said that in the article. I don't read these articles before the show, so. So an electric voyage, they're using a new engine as far as I know. It's like a ion thruster, I think it's called. Psyche's solar arrays convert light into electricity, providing the power for 4 solar electric or Hall effect thrusters. These use electromagnetic fields to accelerate and expel ions. There you go. charged atoms of xenon, the same inert gas used in car headlights and plasma TVs. Except that this thing, so this is what it looks like. I had seen like prototypes of this engine being developed, not in person, but like pictures and videos and stuff that were released. Quite fascinating technology. The speed at which this can theoretically reach is unlimited. Like, depending on how much time it has to keep on propelling, supposedly it can go extremely fast. It would just take forever because it just kind of goes poop, 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 and like a steam engine, you know, dun, 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 and just kind of goes out, eventually reaching really high speed. Maybe they'll talk about it in this article, but oh yeah, there, see, it even says it, right? While the resulting blue glow is evocative of Star Trek, it's no warp drive. The actual force it exerts is, in a given moment, is roughly equal to the weight of a double A battery in the palm of your hand. So that's like nothing, right? But in the void of space, the probe will accelerate continuously to tens of thousands of miles an hour. See, I could write this article if I have just a little bit of triggers. Hey, write this paragraph. Hey, write this paragraph. I'm almost like an AI. So they're going to talk about gravity science and do research on Psyche. Psyche has a suite of dedicated scientific instruments to probe the asteroid's chemical and mineral composition and look for signs of an ancient magnetic field, the remnants of which could be embedded in the metal itself. I don't know if it has the ability to take a sample. It doesn't say anything here as a title. So it says, let's see, gravity science, less metal, more rock. Given its brightness, there was until recently broad consensus that Psyche was almost entirely metal, consistent with the theory that it's an exposed planetary core whose rocky crust and mantle were blown off in an ancient collision. If anybody was watching the first episode of Loki, think of it that way. If you haven't seen Loki, the first episode of the second season, go check it out. Yeah. It's actually, that's such a fun show to watch. One possibility they put forward is iron spewing volcanoes brought metal up from Psyche's core to coat its surface with a rocky, above a rocky mantle, effectively creating a structure akin to a metal sandwich. But it won't be until 2029 when the Psyche spacecraft reaches its destination that we'll know for sure. Yeah, it would be great if they make little suction cups and they can grab onto that asteroid and drill in and take a sample straight from space. Everything that we get here on Earth has gone through atmosphere, and so it's contaminated by our atmosphere, by our chemistry, and then hit the Earth at high speeds. So even that is somewhat impacted by our chemistry. But out in space, nothing. So cool. Let's go check out the next article unless you want to say something.
I don't have anything to add. I think these are really cool, and I hope we see more of this.
One problem is I didn't give credit where credit is due. Issam Ahmed is the author over at phys.org. There we go. I made it up to you. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Smack Talk. This one will be really fast because there's not much that can really be said about this other than I think it sucks. Meta blacklisted a developer after learning its VR fitness app will also launch on Vision Pro, according to a lawsuit. Now, I don't think this lawsuit will go very far, but the developer of a virtual reality yoga app has filed a lawsuit against Meta, accusing the company of retaliating after it learned that it was also in talks with Apple to bring the app to Vision Pro. If Meta doesn't want them, then Apple does. And that's the prerogative of a company. Now, the optics of it make it seem like Meta is...
It looks really bad.
But you know what? If Meta gave one rat's butt about what people think of it, the CEO of it wouldn't have said that people were freaking stupid for providing personally identifiable information on its website.
Exactly. I love to buy from companies that insult me.
Yeah, I get in line for that. I pay
I
extra.
pay extra.
Get out of my head. Now I know what the AI has been doing. Oh, I'm scared. So Chance Miller over at 9to5mac.com posted this article, and here's the robot Zuckerberg. I believe that behind his head is actually a mechanical seat where a little alien can actually pilot him, and the little alien is a lizard person. So, like when somebody...
That sounds too adorable, though.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cute.
I was thinking like Men in Black or something.
That's exactly where I got it from, but it's cute until it eats your face. As reported by Bloomberg, developer Andre Elijah had worked closely with Meta on a partnership to launch his AEI fitness app on Meta Quest virtual reality platforms. According to Elijah, the app was set to be unveiled at Meta Connect, the company's 2-day VR event that was held last month. But while preparing for the keynote, which also included a gorgeous trailer for the AEI fitness app, Elijah said that he was told the deal was off. Meta allegedly banned Elijah from the Meta Connect platform and put his name on a blacklist of developers it refuses to do business with. Yeah, I mean, the quotes and stuff, it was hell working on it, and we got there, Elijah said in an interview, adding that the company made a gorgeous trailer for its presentation at the conference, but while preparing to be part of Chief Executive Officer Mark Zuckerberg's keynote, he said he was told, no, the project's killed. We're not giving you your money. So that would trigger a lawsuit. The simple fact that somebody not wanting them on their platform, that's their prerogative. You know, I don't have to let you into my house. I don't have to give you a ride. I don't have to let you sell on my platform. It's just the nature of the beast of business. That's why I warn people not to put all of their eggs in one basket at any time. Always have something to fall back on. Just like going to school and getting a college degree, but mom, I want to just work and make millions. Well, you need something to fall back on when it does happen, or if it happens. You want that. Well, this person goes a little beyond that because actual money apparently was involved. So Apple and Pico, the lawsuit says, agreed to launch the AEI fitness app on their platforms within the next 1 to 2 years. Elijah's lawsuit against Meta of scrapping the deal after it learned that he had also talked with Apple about bringing AEI. They need a different app name for it. Just AEI Fitness, for crying out loud, to Vision Pro, as well as talks with ByteDance for the company's Pico platform. So I'm not quite sure, what is the deal here, unless Meta actually said to him, hey, we want exclusivity, wherein Elijah could sit there and say, well, if you want exclusivity, then I want more money.
True, but we don't even know whether they agreed to exclusivity before this.
Right. In the lawsuit, Elijah argues that Meta's retaliation will result in reduced innovation, quality, and choice, less pressure to compete for the most talented app developers, and potentially higher prices for VR fitness apps. Man, I don't know.
We're getting higher prices no matter what, right?
Right. But here's the thing. According to Bloomberg, Meta had already paid Elijah around $1.5 million. Through the lawsuit, the developer is seeking $3.2 million more in the near term and hundreds of millions in lost revenue and damages. In total, that equates to over $353 million in damages, the lawsuit says.
I feel like I'm missing something here.
Yeah, the actual... oh, wow. So there's violations of the Sherman Act. Huh. I'd have to read this so that I could actually discuss the context of this. Simply put, if there was an agreement, and it sure sounds like it, no, the project's killed, we're not giving you your money. if that was in any way stated somewhere, this case is already done before it hits the courtroom. If there's an agreement where this developer was supposed to make a certain amount of money for the work done, yeah, there's some serious. But like I always say, when you have a ton of money, cough, cough. Well, I have to point that way, not like that. They don't care. They care about the money, yeah, sure. But the personal slight and the professional slight takes precedence. And, I'm not going to deal with terrorists, that kind of a thing. Whatever gets them through the night in their little human robot body. He's actually pretty tall, from my understanding. Anyway, let's keep on going.
It still might have a little human robot.
Yeah, that could be a little human robot inside, sure. I still think it's a lizard person. So, do you want to go on to the next thing, or did you make an observation in this?
We can go on to the next thing.
All right. So the next article is over in ohmTown Daily, and if you become a citizen of ohmTown, you don't have to be a citizen of ohmTown to actually travel the many streets of ohmTown.com. Go on over, check it out. Look at all these 50 channels, 6 main categories, and then there's this one here for the podcast and elections. Go vote for the articles that you like us talking about. It does influence. We really don't hype it up all that much. Anyway, this next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Restaurant owners are using AI to make new menu items like the Chat GP Taco from a Dallas chain that became a hit with customers. I really stumbled around the segment's title. And frankly, everything would have impacted this, and I didn't want, it could be a delicious taco, but everything that Chat GPT spews out is BS, and I don't want my taco tasting like BS. So, as with many other sectors, hello, Heavy. How you doing? Heavy Steel entering the channel. Good to see you. Oh boy, AI food. Well, this isn't the first time either. We had an article that we talked about where the AI was designing stuff from the shopping carts, and it was like bleach burrito.
Oh, right. It was really awful stuff.
Yeah. And what was the other one? There was one where it was like pool like acid. They would put an acid and a base in the same drink. So it would basically explode, but it was basically poison pilled by people who found out that it was an AI. And so they would like load it up with certain things and it would come out with these horrible recipes. Well, apparently AI is shaking up the restaurant and food industry. Restaurants are experimenting with technology to take orders, forecast inventory, and dictate staffing needs. Well, based on my interaction today through a fast food lane, I probably would want to do the AI take my order thing at this point, because I didn't get what I wanted, but we were in a hurry. So, meetings, they ruin everything in ohmTown. Anyway, some brands are even launching pilot programs to replace staff with robots, like Zuckerberg. Others are taking it a step further. Shake Shack and Coca-Cola have used AI to design menu options and flavors, an experiment that is becoming increasingly popular. By the way, the Coca-Cola AI drink, what was it called? Y3000? That was the oddest thing. That I do not understand the flavor. I could not make. Have you ever in your life? Well, you're a sentient AI, so you synthesize it down to its chemical components. So, have you ever analyzed a drink and there was a component that you couldn't identify? I mean, you're from the future, so.
Well, sure. I mean, every soda has like a secret recipe.
But wouldn't you be able to detect all of the chemicals that are in it?
Not if it was from another planet.
That's interesting.
I don't have that in my database.
So there could be an unknown element. Got it. Well, whatever it was that was making Y3000 for Coca-Cola, that unknown element was in there, because I have no idea what that flavor is. If somebody asked me what that flavor was, I would have to just shrug and walk away. Well, this
Maybe you've
article...
discovered the next umami.
Unknown flavor. That sounds like a great selling point. I guess that is that name pronounced Helene? Over at Business Insider, Helene Krizik put this article together. They have a bunch of takeaways. It's typically referred to as a deck statement when they've got these little snippets down here. Something brief, something that kind of ties it all together, but this is kind of really long. Something about customer experience and stuff like that with AI. I don't know how to read this one, but they have a quote in here. AI is an unbiased tool that can speed up the R&D process, said Clay Dover, the CEO of Velvet Taco. All right. A Dallas-based taco chain with 43 locations nationwide. Really? Velvet Taco recently featured the ChatGPT Taco as part of the restaurant's weekly taco feature, or WTF, to huge success. My head chef, this is a quote from the article. My head chef came to me and said, I found this thing called ChatGPT and I'm going to plug every menu item we have into it and see what it comes up with to create the perfect velvet taco. I have a hard time even saying that. Dover said, the AI recommended what would most appeal to our customer base, so we tested and tasted the recommendations, tweaking the recipe until we had what we thought would work best for our customers. So, and that right there is what I had said earlier this week. And then I said it again when Dunkstar was talking about it the other day. If you don't know who Dunkstar is, go over to twitch.tv/Dunkstar. Z says Velvet Taco is amazing though. Okay. I can't argue with you about that. I would have to assume that yes, it is. They've got 43 locations nationwide. So you really do have to accept that. Some people will sit there and say, you know, Taco Bell, McDonald's, Burger King are all junk. But when they have thousands of locations, you have to just accept that it's good enough to eat. Velvet Taco, though, seems like they're a little bit more caring about their product. Well, the thing here, the takeaway here is that although they put stuff into ChatGPT, ChatGPT has no idea about the demographics and psychographics of its customers. It has a context that from its large language model that basically amounts to bullshit. And whatever it spits out, you either as a human being go, it's good enough, or you do what Velvet Taco did, which was take their recommendations from ChatGPT's general assumption of garbage, threw it into what might have been popular based on the statistics derived from the already existing menus, and then Velvet Taco tweaked it into something that the customers loved. So it had nothing really to do with ChatGPT other than the hype. The hype is real because people are like Scrooge McDucking anything ChatGPT. They're rolling around in a giant pool of AI large language models and saying how great it is. It's just the hype is so real. Now, don't get me wrong. AI is coming. AI is a brilliant technology, but it's dumber than sin, and it can be poison pilled very, very easily. So just be careful. Attorneys have lost their jobs, lost all credibility. Others have done the same in private sector and in corporate structures. I've talked to people who have used AI to generate stuff that upon questioning and introspection of the material that was provided, was summarily dismissed or was found to be junk, and it impacts reputation. So you have to vet it as a human being again and again and again. And in academia, the moment you submit something, if the professor is worth their salt, they've already deduced that you've used an AI because everything that's said in there isn't something written by a human being. Just the sentence construction, in-text citations, references page, all of that kind of stuff, the AI just doesn't do. Not yet, but 5 years
By the
from
way,
now.
I went down a rabbit hole looking for Velvet Taco's menu items
Oh boy.
and locations, and they look quite good.
Oh, okay. Well, you're a sentient AI, so you don't need to worry about that kind of stuff until you find your Terminator body. And then I have to worry about that stuff. So ChatGPT Taco features flank steak, blackened shrimp, red chili aioli, chimichurri, crispy potatoes, grilled onion, queso. Sorry, folks. I'll be back. I got to go out of ohmTown and
go get some food.
dear God. Queso fresco, jalapeno, or as I like to say, jalapeno, and cilantro on a corn tortilla. I'd rather have it on a flour tortilla, but corn is a great tie for first. You had me at taco regardless. The taco became the restaurant's best-selling and best-rated taco in 2023. I want to know about what they did to tweak it, though. They tweaked it, and I want to know, because the tweak
and how much did they, right?
yeah. The magic is in the tweak, as one says. So Z says that they have this amazing buffalo chicken taco that just can't be beat, and then agreed that sounds amazing. Yeah. There's so much complexity in here. To throw chimichurri and red chili aioli in there, man, I don't know what your tongue would be working on at one moment and then the other. There's so many flavors. Just grilled onion alone with flank steak would be spectacular. Anyways, I somehow I went from joking mockingly at Velvet Taco's name to, hey, I'm gonna leave the state and go and get Velvet Taco. I don't know where the nearest. It's okay. I don't want to dox myself. So what restaurants can learn from using AI? Nothing. It can stimulate the creative juices to see if you can break out of whatever rut you might be in. But let's see. Dover said that he was excited by the efficiency restaurants can gain by using AI to create recipes. As chefs and as CEOs, we always skew towards our own tastes and preferences. Yep. He explained AI is a neutral way around that. It helps you speed up the process, which is still chef driven. AI is not going to take a chef's place. Instead, it's going to be one of a chef's most valuable tools. Yeah, because it helps them see with another person's eyes without the person. So you don't have to worry about whatever, somebody having a bad day or not feeling creative.
Or them having a bias.
Or their own bias, yeah. So like I always say, AI is a tool. It should just stimulate creativity. It empowers some people to be creative without having the skills to embody that creativity. But it is a major exercise in compromise. You have to either get what you get from the AI's generation process and go, yeah, that's good enough, or take it and massage it into something that will get you a, let's see, what was the number? A 4.6 out of 5 on guest surveys when you make your ChatGPT taco. So there you go, folks.
I mean, I do like the name of it. ChatGPT taco.
Oh, I thought Velvet Taco. Hey, I guess it works. Okay, sorry, the AI is telling me to just move past this. I will right now. So the next article is over in Mobile, how building waste could be used to grow tomatoes. I'll be quick with this because I've been prattling on. Highly processed building waste, which usually end up in a landfill, can be used to grow tomatoes, a study from the University of Portsmouth found. The paper was published in Construction and Building Materials. This segment is actually titled let's see here. These tomatoes taste like building waste.
Ew.
I love it. So, how building waste could be used to grow tomatoes. This is from the University of Portsmouth. It's published over at phys.org, but it's also a paper published in Construction and Building Materials. So, construction, demolition, excavation waste is typically processed through a large cylindrical drum known as a trommel. It basically pounds it into nothing. Depending on okay, so hold on. So depending on how they do it, it's either with not boulders, but steel balls in a closed, I guess like a tub, a closed drum, or like this, which has these little lines in it, and the waste in itself just kind of grinds itself up. And so you go from this material into this material, and then you can sift it even finer and grade it into different like layers, strata, and you can actually use it. Now, my problem with this is building waste is largely a combination of stuff that's rather inert and stuff that is horrible, and would most likely include microplastics and unless somebody is extremely diligent about separating the material. Well, they use this trommel. It separates the the waste material by size. Anything that's too small for effective recycling is the product known as trommel fines. Muhammad Ali, associate professor of materials and environmental innovation, conducted a 70-day tomato growth trial, which found that mixing compost with 20% trommel fines provided sufficient nutrients for robust plant and root growth. But this is an 80-20 mix of conventional compost. And through my own experiments, I can tell you that you could pretty much mix anything with 80% mixing compost, like the actual compost, with 20% of anything, and you'll be able to grow pretty much anything. There's actually a product out there right now where it's compost, it's soil with little styrofoam balls. And all you do is throw your seeds on there, pack it down a little bit, get it wet, and it'll start growing. But the benefit of this is that you're using 20% builder waste. And so it's not just going into a landfill and then staying there forever. Dr. Ali from the University School of Civil Engineering and Surveying said a recent government report found that UK annually produced around 222 million tons of waste, and 62% of this construction was construction and demolition waste. So quite a big. See, they talk about trommel fines, but this is just the first tier. It actually can be reduced dramatically in that other type of tub that I'm talking about, and I can't remember the engineering name, the name for it. It's like a tumbler, but it will grind it into these bits, and then you can separate it. The trommel actually just separates it, and while it's doing it, it's grinding stuff smaller and smaller. There's always going to be large bits in a trommel, though. So Dr. Ali and colleagues also tested whether trommel fines could be used in the production of soil blocks to manufacture a variety of earth-based construction materials. The results were promising. The study found that mixing 50% soil and 50% waste to make a compressed earth block only marginally affected its compressive and tensile strengths compared to soil alone. Again, the material in this cannot possibly be good, but I don't know if they're actually looking at that aspect of it. You know, what kind of off-gassing, what kind of microplastics.
What is that doing into the air?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Soil.
I suspect things are a little... the results didn't include it in the article, so I would suspect that they wouldn't be favorable, but We'll see. Okay, let's keep on going. We got 3 more articles. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. I will really fight the urge to soapbox about this. RIAA wants AI voice cloning sites on government piracy watch list. Now, I'm not a really big fan of the Recording Industry Association of America, but they say here, and they now consider AI voice cloning a potential copyright infringement threat and want the U.S. government to include it in its piracy watch list. Well, okay. They say, in a submission to the U.S. Trade Representative, the RIAA asked the government to include the category of AI voice cloning in its annual list of entities that reportedly promote piracy or counterfeiting. That's the main ingredient here. Piracy for a name, but I'll get to it. The review of the notorious markets for counterfeiting and piracy often include specific companies, websites, or territories to warn users of potential copyright infringement. So the article is over at The Verge. Amelia David is the author. The deck statement says the Recording Association suggested the U.S. government add the website Voicify to its list of potential piracy markets. Now, I don't think that a voice can be protected, because all it is nature randomizing the construction of your vocal cords, and there is no way to verify that my voice is the only voice that is in existence. There's no way to verify it. There's billions of people on the planet. Somebody else can sound like me. There are people that are dangerously close to sounding like me and could probably pull it off if they so chose. So I don't think that you can pirate a voice. You can counterfeit it. I think that if you falsely represent somebody else's voice, it's fraud and it should be criminal. Plain and simple. But if I use AI to manipulate my voice and I can sound like somebody else, as long as I don't say that I am that person.
Right. That I don't see where the piracy comes in at that point.
Yeah. Or even the counterfeiting. I'm not saying it's the same thing with art. You know, if I get dangerously close to somebody else's art, then I hate to break it to you, it's just the style of art that I appreciate, and I got inspiration and I created something. If I say that my art is somebody else's art and I try and sell it off of the brand recognition and reputation of and valor of that other person's goodwill, then I am defrauding that person and all of their customers, and I should be held financially and possibly legally responsible. And so the RIAA basically saying that it's kind of circling the wagons around trying to stop AI from making incursions into music and anything else. But if Voicify is sitting there saying, hey, you can make music that sounds exactly like Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift and Kanye West, and labels everything as such, then obviously that's wrong. They should be removing it, because the only reason why those voices are using those names is because they're recognizable as Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift and Kanye West. I have a voice manipulation app that uses artwork that is dangerously close to the person that it's representing, but they don't call it that person, because I think their in-house counsel said, you do that, you're going to end up in a courtroom. And Voicify.ai, if they are using their names, these are world famous names. They are in and of themselves trademarked. So trading on their goodwill, you're asking for trouble. Now, they talk about a bunch of other stuff, AliExpress, WeChat, the Pirate Bay, counterfeiting stuff, and copyright theft and all of that kind of stuff. Copyright infringement. It's not copyright theft, it's copyright infringement. that is a side discussion that to me doesn't have any bearing on AI discussions. The counterfeiting part definitely does. It's straight up fraud if you represent something that's generated by AI as anything other than generated by AI. And, let's say I do it. I have to say Mayor Watt's, art is generated by AI.
It seems like the issue here is that it's actually copying the original work.
It may very well. But phonemes aren't protected. If I break up each individual element and I make it a unique construction and I don't say that it is Ariana Grande, I mean, that would literally make every sound anybody ever utters illegal, but it's not. What's illegal is representing it as somebody else's work other than an AI construction that sounds eerily like Ariana Grande. But again, prove to me that nobody else.
The Drake Weekend collaboration that wasn't.
Yeah. But still, if they wouldn't have said that it's Drake and the Weekend, people would have appreciated it. But they utilized the reputation. They leveraged the goodwill. In business, it's called goodwill. They leveraged that. Did I throw? No, I didn't throw that into the chat. So here you go. So they leveraged the benefit of all of these people and their producers and publishers, all of their money and goodwill to sell this video until they clapped back. And rightfully so. Drake and The Weeknd should have been able to take that down because it was misrepresenting itself as their work, and that's fraud. So I have no problem with that. I also have no problem with AI creating music and simulating voices and manipulating minds should I choose to, because I'm not saying that I am somebody else. I am Mayor Watt. And I will never sit there and say, hey, I am Ariana Grande, although my voice changer could probably make me sound like Ariana Grande because I got a sexy voice.
That'd be a sight.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my gold thong on and start. No, wrong thing to say at this moment. All right.
Wrong thing to say.
The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Amazon's worst deal of Prime Day. Get 1% off. I like saying it this way. Hermes Birkin bag and Hermes. Is that actually pronounced Birkin? Just like that? Birkin? That harsh? Just Birkin? Somebody in chat tell me. Z, don't say, oh Lord. You know you want to see it. Mayor Watt, gold thong.
We were just moving past that and you reopened it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to do some of these things. So when you buy through the links of this website that we're about to go to, you can actually generate money for them. It's not me, it's them. I was told that yes, that is how it's pronounced, and 100% picks or it didn't happen. Oh gosh, Z called my bluff. So let's go over to the source of this article. Lauren Savoy, I think that's how you pronounce their name, and was the writer, but it was edited by Sally Kaplan. If this is the bag, all right. So would you buy that? How much was it?
I don't even think that bag is attractive.
Ouch. Ouch.
Sorry.
Anybody else?
I don't know. It's also a used bag. It's not a
Holy,
new one.
Are you kidding me? No, that can't be right. That was the price?
That is correct. Mm-hmm.
Good God. What is wrong with you people? I don't know.
Who is the you people here?
The people that are willing to pay $18,500 for a pre-loved to-go or Togo. I don't know if it's to-go or to-go. Togo, like, the country Togo. Hermes pre-loved Togo Birkin. As he says, Yep. Hard pass. I'll just carry a Walmart bag around, thanks. Yeah. That's me. Actually, I made mine. I made the thing that I use to carry my cards around.
Your Birkin bag?
Yeah, my Birkin bag. I don't know. To me, never mind. There's a different. I can't talk like this. I have to just read this article. So it's rounding 8 p.m. on Prime Day, which means that our team, and that's Business Insider's team, is battle worn and loopy from 48 straight hours of covering the best Prime Day deals. The author's tired, so very tired, which is why when they saw the whopping 1% Prime Day discount on an Hermès Birkin, they near about blew a gasket. Okay, so it was starting at the low price of $17,300. Once you clip the coupon for $200 off. That's just for the green
and that's
color,
only
though.
for one color, yeah.
Yeah, the one that people really don't want. Well, I mean, some people might really appreciate that green color, though. You'll pony up a cool $29,300 with the discount if you'd like it in pink. I guess. I think that's probably because of the Barbie movie.
Oh, maybe so. Well, remember, they were supposedly having a shortage of pink.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, whatever. But don't worry, it comes with free 2-day Prime shipping. Come on, man. If you're gonna be busting out $29,300 for a bag, I don't think $200 is gonna really impact you. And
I mean, it's a laughable discount, but also, okay, think about how your packages arrive.
Yeah.
And you're spending $30,000 on this, and then the delivery driver is hucking the bag on your driveway or wherever.
Does like an Olympic shot put throw from the street onto your patio. That's when the dog grabs it and just. So I wish I was kidding, y'all. A package arrived today where it was a shirt inside a clear, like vacuum sealed bag, and it was just thrown haphazardly across the door frame. I saw it laying there, like just so much tired. You know, it was like, oh, so sad.
It didn't even get a box.
It didn't even get a box.
Kind of astonishing.
Right? It was just like in a Ziploc bag, slapped with a shipping sticker and thrown out. Oh, man. The walk of shame for a shirt just kind of sitting there. Anyway, so is anybody going to hot tail it out there and get this Birkin bag from Hermès? No. From now on.
Who can justify spending that amount of money on a handbag?
I know of one person right now that can do it, because they won the Powerball jackpot in California. $1.7 billion, walking out with a cool billion.
Wow.
Yeah. Or it was like $850 million. One person. Yeah. I don't think that they're going to be going on Amazon to purchase a Birkin bag, though. All right, let's get out of here and have one more article.
About 100,000 Birkin bags, though, at that payout.
Did you really just do the math?
Yeah, I just wanted to, because the number was very aligned. It was a $17,000 price and a 1.7 billion lottery win.
And all of them thrown onto your porch from the street. 250 fully packed Amazon trucks are just like throwing bags onto your porch. So how about this? This segment's titled something along the lines of, well, here, I'll actually get it. I'll say it. Swiss Army knife and a work of art. So you might take away that somebody messed up some art with a Swiss Army knife, but let's talk about how a master thief stole $2 billion worth of art with nothing but a Swiss Army knife. On this episode of Dirty Money, get the story of a sticky-fingered Frenchman who walked out of museums with priceless works under his jacket. Dun, dun, dun. This is an article over at entrepreneur.com by Dan Bova. Stephanie Brettweiser is perhaps the most prolific art thief who ever lived. From 1994 to 2001, he and his girlfriend/accomplice Anne Catherine Kleinklaus tore through Europe on a breathtaking crime spree, armed with only a Swiss Army knife. And they did this every 3 weekends out of 4, stealing priceless works of art from museums, galleries, and auction houses. Eventually, he amassed a collection that totaled over 300 works of stolen art worth $2 billion, or not. Well, since this isn't taxed worth, it would be equal to one Powerball lottery winning.
Or 100,000 used Birkin bags.
Yeah, it says here that here's the weird part. He never stole all of this art to make a profit. He kept all of his stolen treasures in a pair of secret rooms where he could admire them. Dun dun dun. So Dirty Money is a podcast from Entrepreneur Media telling tales of legendary scammers, con artists, and barely legal lowlifes who stop at nothing to bilk their marks of millions. Dun dun dun. So go check out Dirty Money.
So wasn't the weirdest detail in here that they did the thefts every 3 weekends out of 4? Do you think the 4th weekend they spent installing all the artwork?
Yeah, all of they put up a French cleat system in their 2 secret rooms so that they could, his and hers, so that they could look at their art. And then on that 4th weekend, not that 4th week, they actually did all of that. But at the end of the week, that weekend, they stole art from each other just to keep their skills at peak performance.
Oh, okay.
And neither one of them used a Swiss Army knife on that day. They did it. Hey, could you get me a drink? And one walked off and the other one would go steal some artwork. I'm not even going to read the rest of this because they use phrases like, which he wrote after conducting a series of interviews with the sticky-fingered Frenchman. Okay, that dead air is all because of that statement. So we're done. Go check it out, though. It might be a fun podcast, Dirty Money. I'm going to go check it out. That's why I chose this, because I wanted to go and check out this podcast. And that actually is part and parcel to one of the other shows that's in ohmTown. It's going to be under that, where we talk about...
which is what for the podcast?
Oh, for those who are listening, yeah, Stream Stars. Basically highlighting those who are streaming once a week, focusing on people with varying strata of time that they've committed, production value, money that they've spent, because there's a lot of people that can spend copious amounts of money to build their set, and others that don't, and a lot of people just don't get much attention. And I'm starting out still, and so I would love to go and find new and interesting streamers and podcasters, and all of that will be part of the Stream Stars segment. I watch some streamers that have been doing some form of streaming for 20 years. And before that, they've been in industry akin to streaming, like television and radio, for 30 years. And even they have what to me seems like a very small amount of listeners, but they've been doing it forever. And then I stumble across somebody that somehow went viral, and they have 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 viewers, or their podcast or their YouTube channel is just massive, but I don't see promotion all that much, so I would love to try and facilitate it as much or as little as I can. Sorry, it's funnier in my head because I'm a small-time streamer. So But stick around. It's one of the shows that I actually aggregate stuff into, but I don't actually do much with it right now. It's just for me because ohmTown has been around for a long time, and only last year did I open it up to the public. So I hope you enjoyed the show, and we always have more articles to talk about tomorrow. It is a daily show. We do it at 8 p.m. every day. But right now I'm going to bring you all the way back to Main Street, and then we click that logo and we get a bunch of articles. PC streaming service Shadow discloses security breach. I guess that'll be on tomorrow's segment of cybersecurity today. Oh gosh, did I just create another? No, there has to be.
You better add that.
There has to be another. There has to be a show already called that. Let's see. California prepares lawsuit to block Albertsons acquisition. Kroger claims unions would benefit. All right. That's an interesting take. Z. Have a good evening. Thanks for sticking around. Heavy Steel, thank you very much. I see a bunch of other lurkers in there too. Thank you very much. You are awesome. You all power the internet and my channel. Thank you so much. That's it, folks. We are all done. So, have a good night. I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmTown, and up there is the AI that's going to say, yo.
Yo.
You struggled so much to do that.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. We will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes. Bye-bye. Poof.